36 essential drugs, particularly for chronic conditions, diabetes, hypertension, cardiac problem, cancer, rare disease. That's complete exemption of duty. That's another point. 6 life-saving drugs from 18-20% to 5% custom duty. That's another important one. Indian recommendation and 1 doctor per 1,000 population is the national recommendation. Now 0.89 per 1,000. So keeping that in mind, this year, that is 25-26, 10,000 doctors. Next 5 years, addition of 75 doctors. I think that's another welcome move. Also, 8 crore children for a nutritional augmentation. Lower socioeconomic class, there are nutritional deficiencies. I think that's a specific focus. Also, foundation for AI in healthcare. I think education, AI, healthcare, that's also another focus. And one more point on the national nutrition. Medical tourism. Now, large number of people come from East Africa, Middle East, and Sri Lanka. I think that is a Heal in India focus. I think these are all the very, very welcome scheme. I think in the last 10 years, there are 3 times improvement in the overall healthcare budget. Thank you.
Mike, would you like to add something on education and research?
Thank you. This particular budget seems to have focused on providing quality education accessible to all people. The number of seats increased in IIT by about 6,500 is making it more accessible. In the last about a decade, there have been many more IITs beyond the 4 metros has been the first step, and now increasing the number of seats is going to make this quality education more accessible. That's a fantastic step. The second thing is, while the private sector looks at all the new technologies, government putting in 500 crores to set up these 3 AI centers of excellence, that's again a great step towards saying to the entire world that we are on the path to embrace technology at the apex level in the government. And another interesting thing that I notice is the new age work culture allows people who are very advanced in the technology knowledge have become gig workers, workers who work from what you call freelancers, if I can call it, but normally freelancers are in the lower strata of unorganized sector, in the other work, this thing. But in technology also there is a lot of gig workers, and these people needed a little bit of a comfort, and that social security that the government is now going to provide for about 1 crore people, that's going to be a major step in making them more confident and comfortable being gig workers and providing that ability to larger in a much better manner. These, I think, are the major things, and of course a 5-year availability of time for startups to file the returns, that's going to be very good. And the Atal Tinkering Labs again, which is going to make at school levels for people to be expressing their curiosity and inquisitive nature and making them more creative. I think these are the main takeaways that I see in education. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Matthew, electronics?
Thank you, ma'am. So I think more importantly, I thought what I was pleased was, I think the export pillar, when the FM talked about, we talked about competitiveness in the export pillar and the industry 4.0 focus. And again, related to that was the electronics piece that was basically there. I think a couple of announcements in terms of the National Manufacturing Mission, Center for AI, I think Madam also referred to, the Industry 4.0, what I talked about, National Skilling Centers for Excellence. I think those 5 centers that are proposed is just a validation of the fact that, you know, this is being taught at the highest levels that we need to, if you need to make in India and also need to design in India and then make in India for the world, make in India for India and then make in India for the world. So I think again that is one aspect. And also clean tech. I also picked up the focus on clean tech with this solar, PV, electrolyzers, wind. I think that's also a key thing. So I think again the whole, when you talk about the skilling, I mean the skilling mission, the electronics also obviously, ma'am, will focus. And again, I would like to hear something more on the semiconductor. Madam didn't talk about, talked about electronics, semicon, no, but I'm sure that it will continue in terms of the PLI schemes that will continue. So thank you.
Thank you. Savita, on the schemes that have been announced for women.
Well, I think you've already spoken about one of them. So the loan scheme that is essentially started for women, so about 5,000 crore allocation that is there. The 5 lakh loan scheme essentially is going to incentivize. There's a little bit of confusion whether it's women from SC/ST or women, so I'm awaiting a clarification on that. I think the Anganwadi system also, that they have given the nutritional support even for young women, I think that's going to see more focus as far as health and well-being is concerned. So these were the 2 main schemes that came up.
Mr. Mahalingam.
Good afternoon. Some of the investment announcements in tech, deep tech, the extension and contribution for alternate investments funds is going to fuel the growth of startups as well as the tech industry. And also the Center for Artificial Intelligence in Education is in the right direction. I think it will help bringing AI to the mainstream. So that's one of the most talked about. And other important announcement is that support for the GCCs in Tier 2 cities. Today, Global Capability Centers is one of the main topic everyone is talking about. And the Finance Minister has announced that she is going to, through states, they're going to support the Tier 2 cities in terms of infrastructure development and other facilities enhancements for GCCs to establish in Tier 2 cities. So that's a welcome announcement. And similarly, enhance capacity additions in IITs. It is going to help the IT industry in terms of availability of talents, and also some of the proposals in skill development and the social welfare for tech gig works is definitely going to help the IT industry as a whole.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mohan, on the leather and non-leather, please.
Good afternoon. This has been one of the finest budgets as far as the leather and footwear sector is concerned. If you look at it in the leather and footwear sector, I'll just take leather. Leather, they abolished the duties on the import of red blues. That's going to help because India doesn't tan. India has only fallen animals. We don't slaughter cow. And so that is going to help the exports quite a bit. That's one very good move we have been asking for quite some time from our industry perspective. So it's a very, very welcome move. The second is there is a duty on the export of crust leather, which is an intermediary before the wet blue and the final finished leather. That is going to help a lot of tanners, small scale tanners, to export their product. This is very, very welcome from the leather perspective. But more importantly is the package that is being announced from the footwear. As you all know, due to geopolitical developments, many of you in Tamil Nadu would know that there's a lot of Taiwanese manufacturing setting up the plants in India, especially in Tamil Nadu. And that's going to kind of, help a lot of investments coming into India. And footwear is a business which employs predominantly women, that too from the underprivileged sections of the society. And an improvement of this industry will help us create a very inclusive society, a society where every section gets benefited, and that too women. Women empowerment also is one of the social benefit of this particular industry. So this, we thank the Prime Minister profusely. In fact, there have been a lot of meetings which we underwent and we have recommended a lot of packages, a lot of improvements, especially from the footwear industry perspective, because it's a labor-intensive industry. It is not a capital-intensive industry. So that's going to benefit the industry a lot because India is in a very unique position. Number one, exports is going to go up. Second is our domestic consumption. We have 11% of the world's global share in footwear. And the vision, what we have set for ourselves is 25% of the global share by 2030. And that will happen by exports as well as increase in the domestic consumption from the 1.9 pairs per person per day to going up to say 2.9 pairs per person per day. So it's a great announcement and we welcome this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Uni, on manufacturing.
So good afternoon. On the manufacturing sector, I think it's very heartening to
hear about the manufacturing mission. Though the Honorable Minister did not elaborate on that, but I'm sure we'll have to go through the details of the mission. I'm sure that's going to have a lot of interesting, initiatives for the industry at large and specifically for CII for us to work on that part of it. More specifically, I think the 5 skills, centers of excellence, I think that's really going to help in terms of having the right skills and more skills available for the manufacturing sector. It's again very heartening that it's more forward-looking and, long-term capacity building kind of initiatives in the budget. Budget talking about AI, Industry 4.0 and global capability centers. I think that's very, very encouraging. I'm sure that's really going to help in terms of providing the right kind of technology and skills for manufacturing to be really competitive in the new world. It's also very interesting to see that the previous programs like Gati Shakti are continuing to get support, because logistics is one area where we really need to improve our infrastructure and many other things so that we are globally competitive from a manufacturing standpoint of view, especially when we are looking at China +1. And some of the sectoral initiatives are also extremely welcome, especially on EV, electronics and the renewable energy sector. And more from our state, Tamil Nadu point of view, happy to hear the emphasis on footwear, leather and also the toys sector. One thing that I would have liked to hear was on the construction sector, because when you talk about manufacturing, construction is closely connected with that, both in terms of the scale and also the employment generation. I did not hear anything in the speech on that, but I'm sure in the fine print there would be some initiatives also supporting the construction sector.
Thank you, Oni. May I ask Narayan to continue that conversation on manufacturing?
Thank you, Chair. So to start with, just to continue on manufacturing, it's heartening to see the focus on nuclear energy and also on government-led infrastructure projects, because NPCIL has, for example, a lot of projects on annual, and this will give a great fillip to mid-sized companies. Again, the continuing focus on MSMEs and certain companies focusing on supplying components and products for these projects, whether it's in oil and gas, the other ongoing projects of NPCIL. We see definitely this will result in a great fillip to demand and domestic consumption. On the chemical side, there is an indirect focus on domestic value addition, and we need to see the details on some of the customs duty announcements. But we believe that the general focus on domestic value addition will also support the chemical sector. A lot of focus was there on critical minerals. It's heartening, it was really heartening to see the full exemption on basic customs duty on cobalt powder, lithium-ion battery waste, scrap, and this will both ensure that India becomes more self-sufficient on the critical minerals, which today you can see across the world, every government is focusing on self-sufficiency in critical minerals, and it's a great opportunity in terms of employment for the youth. In general, the employment-led growth and focus on employment in the budget is excellent. So a couple of announcements I'd like to add on the export side also. The budget has rightly put the focus on MSMEs being 45% of India's exports. So the credit guarantee enhancement will go a long way towards helping MSMEs with their exports, and also the announcement on Bharat TradeNet will again be of great support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Vikram, may I ask you to comment on the hospitality and tourism industry?
Hello. Thank you, ma'am, and good afternoon. I think hospitality, travel, tourism, I think this budget has been very encouraging. After all, I think the sector provides almost 8 crore jobs and contributes 9% to the GDP. The most confidence building announcement was the top 50 tourist destinations development. Of course, we need to get into details of which destinations these are and which states are involved, because the land and the infrastructure has to be worked with the states. What's also encouraging was the thematic announcement, the spiritual tourism. I think spiritual tourism the past few years has been in vogue, and I think this year, I think that we are trying to develop the Buddha circuits. I think that would also get in a lot of people from Southeast Asian countries, especially Japan, China and other places. Also medical tourism, Heal in India. I think that's also a very good initiative. It's been happening, but I think they're giving it a bit more impetus. We were asking for hotels close to medical hospitals to have some advantage on taxes. Maybe we have to still work with them to do that. Also visa, easing of visa, e-visa, waivers, fees reduction, also the fees for certain groups which they have done. I think this is a very positive step towards getting people to travel into our country. They have also mentioned very clearly on the skill development of setting up of hospitality institutes. I think this will go in a long way. Almost 42 million people are employed in this sector, and more people are getting into this sector for employment. Another good thing which was announced was the Mudra loans for homestays. I think this is the way forward for tourism in India to develop in remote areas, and homestays are here to stay. And if this is encouraged, I think it will be a good step forward. Of course, infrastructure development has been on the roll. The UDAN scheme, I think already it was announced that 88 airports and 619 routes have been already established. The modified UDAN scheme, they say that 120 new destinations, which will impact 4 crore people in the next 10 years. That's a very good way forward for tourism in India. And of course, the personal taxation, I think that would put a bit more money in the pockets of the middle class, which would encourage travel, domestic tourism, and that would impact economy in the general. So I think overall it has been a very good budget for tourism, travel and hospitality sector. So the sectoral outlook is very good for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram. Milind on food processing and agriculture.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. See, the food processing overall has been plagued with low consumption, and the agriculture also has been under pressure. I think the income tax benefit will really help spruce the consumption going up. And apart from that, I think the access to the global best practices for farmers is a significant step towards modernizing Indian agriculture. I think the Finance Minister has done a lot of steps and given a lot of focus on the agriculture sector in terms of crop diversification, irrigation facilities, availability of credit to help 1.7 lakh crore farmers. I think that is exceptionally good. And there is very specific Dhanya Krishi Yojana to focus on 100 districts, low productivity districts, to improve productivity. This will help improve crop yield and therefore give more money to them in their hands to spend. I think they have also set up a national mission for edible oil seeds aimed at Atmanirbharta. Today, India imports a lot of this oil, so therefore we have a challenge. The prices are increasing. I think with this will help reduce the prices both for the consumers and better prices for the farmers. I think there is also central agencies to procure tur, urad and masoor in the next 4 years. They're also looking at a 6-year mission to become Atmanirbhar in pulses. It's very, very important. I think it will set the base for reducing prices and inflation. I think for the farmers, they also started Kisan credit cards for 7.7 crore farmers. The loan limit will be enhanced to 5 lakhs, which will help them take loans for various inputs, and it will help really, I think, spruce the growth. I think overall, it's an excellent budget, both for the consumers and the agriculture farmers. Thank you.
Thank you. Ike on energy.
Good morning. I think on the energy, they have said they're incentivizing certain sectors, especially for the ISTS. So we have to see the details, which could really help in reducing the transmission cost. I just like to add 1 or 2 things on manufacturing, madam. One is, I think the new policy for recovery of rare earths from tailings. This has been something which we have been asking for from the government. this will really be a great boost, especially some of the new patents that some of our engineers have developed at IIT and other places. Similarly, I think the rationalization of the TDS and TCS, I think that is going to be very interesting, which has been a long-standing demand from us. Thank you.
Mr. Ranganath, your views, please.
Just a few points. Most of you have covered everything. To me, on education, where I'm also a little bit involved, the real game changer is 50,000 Atal tinkering missions in schools. Very often we focus on higher education, but if the foundation is not good, you don't have critical thinking at schools. This, I think, would make a big difference in the long run. The other thing is with exports, the Bharat Trade Net. That would certainly make things easier for exporters and also perhaps for MSMEs, where not just the ease of doing business, but the cost of doing business will also come down, because that's very important there. Coming to the water sector, which I've been involved in, the Jal Jeevan mission has been going on quite well. They want 100% coverage by the year 2028, which means that there'll be more and more investment going on. But again, this also depends on the various states and how they are progressing. Some states are doing better than the other. So I guess this would sort of make a difference. And in terms of agriculture, they are looking at irrigation in a way, but it's a little more difficult, but we'll have to see what the details are. I don't have the details. So this is basically, these are the few things that would make a change. He already spoke about tourism. That is a potential which India has never ever realized because of the problems that we've been having. But I guess that would make a huge difference in the way they are approaching tourism now, with all things made easy for homestays, etc. The only difficulty there is we have to see we have proper regulation in terms of environment, because that could go a little, or like it has done in the Nilgiris.
இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் பற்றி கேள்வி வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ நீங்கள் கேட்டிருப்ப ஃபைனான்ஸ் மினிஸ்டர் சொல்லியிருக்கா 12 லட்சம் ரூபாய்க்குள்ள ரெகுலர் இன்கமாக வந்தால் டேக்ஸ் பே பண்ண வேண்டாம். அதே நேரத்தில் டேக்ஸ் ஸ்லாப்ஸ் கூட கொஞ்சம் மாறி இருக்கா. அப் டு 4 லட்சம்குள்ள டேக்ஸ் இல்லாமல் இருக்குது. 4 லட்சத்துலேருந்து 8 லட்சம் 5%, 8 லட்சத்துலேருந்து 12 லட்சம் 10%, 12 லட்சத்துலேருந்து 16 லட்சம் 15%, 16லேருந்து 20 லட்சம் 20%, 20லேருந்து 24% 25%, 24 லட்சம் மேலே 30%. இந்த மாதிரி டேக்ஸ் ரேட்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கேன். இது தவிர டிசிஎஸ் அண்ட் டிடிஎஸில் கூட கொஞ்சம் ரேஷனலைசேஷன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஃபைனான்ஸ் மினிஸ்டரோட கணக்கு பிரகாரமாக 1 லட்சம் கோடி கூட பெனிஃபிட் இப்போ கன்சியூமர்ஸ்க்கு வரப்போகுது. மக்களுக்கு ஒரு 1 லட்சம் கோடியோட பெனிஃபிட் இந்த டேக்ஸ் புது டேக்ஸ் ரெஜிம் மூலமாக வரப்போகுது. இந்த 1 லட்சம் கோடி இன்சென்டிவ் கட்சியில் கன்சம்ஷனில் வரப்போகுது அண்ட் இக்கானமியை பெனிஃபிட் ஆகும்.
ஓகே, any questions please? புதுசு இனிமேல் தான் ஃபைனான்ஸ் பில் இந்த வருஷம் தானே பாஸ் ஆகுது, அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் நெக்ஸ்ட் இயர் இது 25-26
அடுத்த வருஷத்துக்கு
25-26.
Sir, here. This is Balachandra from Business Line. Sir, if I ask you to highlight 4 or 5 key steps that will spur consumption in the coming year, what would that be, according to you all people?
Well, definitely this 1 lakh crore of income tax exemption will definitely spur demand. Besides that, I think some of the various steps taken in automobiles specifically related to the exemption of various items towards battery That will definitely help lower the cost, and cost is a driver for demand. Lot of focus in terms of also lot of equipment is imported, and exemption of capital goods, which specifically in EV and electronics will definitely help, will be investment friendly, not consumption friendly. The government has been driving capital investment, notably in infrastructure. And this year, while they have not increased the amount, they have at least maintained it at the same level. So I think that will also drive consumption. So these would be the points from my perspective, narrow perspective of automotive. I would say these are the points that would drive demand.
Sir, the private capex has been an issue. Everybody is highlighting only the public capex has been happening. Do we also see a start of private capex cycle from this year, or little early to make a guess?
I think economic survey, they have highlighted that private capex, some sign of green shoots, has been mentioned by the in the economic survey, which came out yesterday. But Kachila, there needs to be demand creation. As global economies are slowing down, Nambur Kulla, to the extent to which we can actually boost the demand. And this budget has tried to address some of the issues, some of the areas. All this should help in driving demand, and as demand grows, people will put capex.
So fund allocation for disaster management, all department is allocated, sir. If the fund is not allocated for disaster management, is there is anyone can reply, sir? Tamil Nadu is suffering in every year. Disaster management, is there is any fund allocation?
Yeah, our disaster management pati specifica பேசல. Fine printல பார்க்கணும். ஏன்னா budget document பார்த்தா ஒரு தடியான ஒரு புக்காட்டம் இருக்கு. அவ highlights தான் mention பண்ணிருக்கா. So rest of it, I think we'll wait for the details to come. Details on the profession.
So CG sir, for MSME you have mentioned, sir. Tamil Nadu, how many MSMEs enjoyed, sir? You say 5 crores to 10 crores is very good. Very, very good start. But in Tamil Nadu, how it is performing, sir?
அதாவது போன வருஷம் மட்டும் 15,000 கோடி டிஸ்போஸ் ஆயிருக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டில். இந்தியா பூரா 2 லட்சம் கோடி. அதில் ஒரு 7.5%, ஆக்சுவலாக அது பத்தாது. நம்ம எம்எஸ்எம்இ ரொம்ப ஈகோசிஸ்டமே நல்லா இருக்கு. நிறைய பேர் தெரியுது. அதாவது எப்போ 2 கோடிலேருந்து 5 கோடி பண்ணாங்களோ அப்பவே இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு. நம்ம டெய்லி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இது 800 கோடி டிஸ்போஸ் ஆகும் கிரெடிட் கேரண்டி ஸ்கீம். இது ஐ திங்க் பீப்புள் ஷுட் யூஸ் இட். எங்களுக்கு என்ன சிஐல சொல்றது, நீங்க என்னென்ன கவர்மெண்ட் கொடுக்குறான்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கு. இப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் அப்புக்கு கிரெடிட் கேரண்டி 20 கோடியை மாற்றிருக்காங்க. ஸோ அதுவும் இருக்கு. ஐ திங்க் இட்ஸ் a great opportunity for MSME and startup.
Ma'am, excuse me. Yeah, I'm Yogesh Kabir from Times of India. What are the key takeaways for Tamil Nadu from this budget, considering the announcements on leather and non-leather footwear? And the second important aspect is about even AI, electronics, and MSMEs. If you can just give us some how Tamil Nadu will benefit from the budget.
When you're talking about an overall budget, it includes Tamil Nadu also.
No, Tamil Nadu specific.
So specifically, Tamil Nadu will get to gain from all the initiatives that have been announced for, especially for the farmers. If you see that enhanced credit through KCC, it facilitates short-term loans to nearly 7.7 crore farmers, and then we have a huge bulk of that in Tamil Nadu itself. That is number one. Number two, all the schemes that have been announced for women, the schools, the digital connectivity, the medical centers. I think all this is for all the states as a whole. So, Tamil Nadu stands to gain from all this.
No, if I have to,
in addition,
Madam?
Maybe in addition to that, I think there is also a mention about the maritime development. And Tamil Nadu has got the longest coast. There is 25,000 crores allocated for that. I think that can really benefit. Plus all the centers of excellence, whether it's on AI, whether it's on Industry 4.0, on skills. Tamil Nadu produces the maximum number of engineers in the country. So I think we can really stand to gain, provided we take the initiatives. So it's for the, for the central government, state government, and the industry and organization like CIS to come together to really take these initiatives forward.
Okay. You send any?
See, on the power sector also, there is some change there. I think a 0.5% increase in the loaning that could reduce the losses of the TNEB, of the discoms. They announced something, but the details we have not got it.
In addition, the benefit on what has been announced for EVs will also benefit Tamil Nadu, because Tamil Nadu is one of the largest manufacturing bases for EVs in the whole country.
Ma'am, there was some mention about technical textiles also. Will Tamil Nadu benefit out of that, announcement? Any thoughts on that?
I'm sure, but it was very briefly mentioned, and there was just on the shuttleless looms. So definitely Tamil Nadu is a huge manufacturing center for technical textiles, and that will definitely benefit technical. But we have to go into the fine print of what else is there for technical textiles.
Madam, can
on the shuttleless.
Madam, Madam, with your permission, can I intervene? Then I need to go actually.
I think
because
your
function to answer your specific question from the perspective of footwear and technical textiles. Let me give you a thing. Tamil Nadu exports about 75% of the country's exports, right? Tamil Nadu has got a very big footwear industry and a leather industry, and this benefits which had been given will kind of catapult the growth quite a bit. Second is there is a focus. There is a package announced. I can't, even though I know some details, I can't till such time we see the finer details. I can't kind of tell you what exactly it is. But if you follow the last 6 months or a year of investments coming from Taiwan and Korea with Tamil Nadu, especially in the footwear industry, the world top 5 majors are in India, that too in Tamil Nadu. Number 1 is Pauchen, number 2 is Hongfu, number 3 is Shoetown, number 4 Fung Thai, number 5 is Apache. All the big boys in the footwear, non-leather footwear manufacturing have come in Tamil Nadu and taken lands, and me creating a cluster of 650 acres, I know that how progressive this budget is going to kind of help Tamil Nadu in the with respect to the footwear sector. With respect to the question on technical textiles, if you look at it, the globe consumes about 30% of the footwear consumed in the globe are made out of textiles, and there has been a special push from I happen to be fortunate enough to attend that thing at the technical textiles, how we can collaborate in the Chintan Chirva session with Honorable Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal. Thereafter, I had a paper which we have presented, and Tamil Nadu will get very much benefited on the technical textiles. Especially the technical textiles is going to be a big thing going forward, not only in apparels but also in footwear, and that's what is going to, this budget will help us to kind of push those sectors. That's what I would like to say.
So, yes.
Hi.
Yes. Yes, please.
Hi.
So I just want to get some clarification about that this exporting MSMEs. So this gets that credit guarantee, this terms loans for 20 crore rupees. So how it will be impact, because this Tamil Nadu is one of the hub of the MSMEs, and also exporting a lot of exports also going from here. MSMEs are there. So how these MSMEs will become globally competitive with this? How this budget will help to them more competitive?
பார்த்தீங்கன்னா திருப்பூரில் 60% டோட்டல் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் 60% எம்எஸ்எம்இ தான் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணாங்க. இப்போ இந்த பட்ஜெட்டில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 2 விஷயம் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஒன்று ஒரே பிளாட்ஃபார்மில் நீங்கள் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணிங்கன்னா அந்த பாரத் நெட் இதில் கனெக்ட் பண்ணி அது ஒர்க் பண்ணலாம். ஸோ தட் ஹேசல் ஃப்ரீ. உங்களுக்கு இம்மீடியட்டாக எல்லாமே போட்டிங்கன்னா நீங்கள் இது ஜிஎஸ்டி ரிட்டர்னு எல்லாமே அதுக்கு ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக இப்போ ரிசர்வ் பேங்க் எல்லாமே பேங்க் எல்லாத்துக்கும் போகிற மாதிரி பண்ணிடுவாங்க. தட் வில் ஒன் ஹெல்ப் ஈஸ் ஆஃப் டூயிங் பிஸ்னஸ். அடுத்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃபேக்டரிங் ஃபார் எக்ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் புதுசாக கொண்டு வரும். தட் வில் ஹெல்ப் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஒர்க்ஸ். போட்ட உடனே ஃபேக்டரிங் பண்ணி உடனே நீங்கள் பணம் வாங்கிக்கலாம். ஸோ கேஷ் ஃப்ளோ வில் இம்ப்ரூவ் ஃபார் நம்ம தமிழ்நாடு 3வது டாப் எக்ஸ்போர்ட். ஸோ இது டெஃபினட்டாக தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு பெனிஃபிட்.
Hi sir, this is Varshini from Times Now. So there were no major announcements for railways or anything regarding to the transportation. So how would it impact in the logistics or tourism or transportation when it comes to railways, because Tamil Nadu in particular has been expecting a lot of rail projects in the recent past. So anybody could explain about this?
I think this time there was a focus on Udan. So they said that they're going to put in 120 new destinations. So I'm sure Tamil Nadu also will be included in that. I think more and more people tend to fly to destinations, especially during holidays. And I think this will be a great scheme where economically challenged people also can fly faster to the tourist destination.
But not air transport is not something that everybody will be able to afford, when it comes
that's
to
what
train.
they're trying to do now. They're trying to make it affordable so that more and more people take this form of transport.
Yeah, plus I think we also need to see that the Honorable Minister did not talk about department-wise allocation. She didn't talk anything about the defense for that matter. So I'm sure there is allocation for railways. There are 500 or 600 railway stations are getting renovated all over the country. The new lines which are coming in. So I'm sure that will continue. We'll have to read the fine print on that part.
Just have to wait for that fine print.
Hello?
டிசபிள் பர்சன் அப்புறம் வந்து சீனியர் சிட்டிசன்ஸ் அவங்களுக்கு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக அதுவும் கொடுத்த மாதிரி இல்லையே இல்லை எவ்வளோ இயரும் அந்த மாதிரி அவங்க வந்து கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணி
Senior citizens இருந்துச்சு. There was something
Senior citizens on the national savings scheme, on the
savings zone and that postal banks, அதெல்லாம் வந்து senior citizens சேர்ந்தது தான்.
So Thomas Matthew sir. Sir, PLI sir. So production linking, Thomas Matthew sir. So PLI, production linking scheme you mentioned about. I think Tamil Nadu is the most emerging sector. All media is asking, what is mean by PLI sector, production linking scheme? How Tamil Nadu MSME can enjoy this, and how the Tamil Nadu government can utilize? Why? Because many industry people ask, what is PLI? They are asking like, what is PLI? Like that.
I mean, specifically there was no reference to PLI in the budget. I'm sure there is in the, as Uni you said, in the fine print.
We are also expecting.
No, so PLI is for certain sectors like electronics.
Yeah.
Now, how MSME benefits is because MSME becomes part of the ecosystem of those large sectors. So it's the indirect benefit that the MSME gets. So Tamil Nadu already has electronic manufacturing in a big way. So it's one of the PLI sectors.
It's linked with export also, right?
Not necessarily. It can be also for the domestic consumption.
So semiconductor is also in PLI, sir?
One of the sectors.
So there's one more question.
இன்னொன்று பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த இதுக்கு சொல்லி க்ளீன் டெக் நம்ம தமிழ்நாடுக்கு மோஸ்ட் சூட்டபிள் அது வந்து பெனிஃபிட் ஆகும்.
Talk about this startup schemes.
லித்தியம் பேட்டரியோட டாக்ஸஸை கம்மி பண்ணியிருக்காங்க, ஃபுல்லாக ரத்து பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. இ-வெஹிக்கிள் செல்ஃபோனுக்கு எந்த அளவுக்கு வந்து பெனிஃபிட்டாக இருக்குது?
ரா மெட்டீரியல் இம்போர்ட் பண்ணுறது கஸ்டம் டியூட்டி அடிச்சிருக்காங்க. தமிழ்நாடுக்கு பண்ணுறதுக்கும் அந்த ரா மெட்டீரியல் இம்போர்ட் பண்ணுறது டியூட்டி.
Sir, just talk about this startup schemes. Startup schemes, a lot of they have announced some credit loans, everything is. So startups now it's getting a lot of prominence in government schemes. So can you please explain about that? How it will be this government, this budget schemes will help to improve the efficiency of the startups?
There are few announcements with regard to startups. One is the credit guarantee fund enhancement to 20 crores. So that will definitely help the startups, especially the manufacturing based startups for their working capital and capex is definitely helpful. The other initiatives are the deep tech fund, which the government has announced. I think that will help startups, especially in deep techs like artificial intelligence or EV and in these sectors. It will definitely help. It will help them. And then the alternate investment fund, the continuation of contribution to the alternate investment fund. Government has announced 10,000 crores, additional 10,000 crores contribution. So this will also indirectly help this fund is aimed at investing in startups and startups at various levels. So I think all these initiatives will help the startups in a big way.
There is one for 5 lakh women first-time entrepreneurs. It's also in a way it's like a startup.
Yeah, the women, SC/ST and the first-time entrepreneurs, so they get up to 5 lakh credit, the credit facility, credit card facility. That will help the micro entrepreneurs, the first-time micro entrepreneurs.
Madam?
The senior citizens for a question கேட்டீங்க இல்லையா? Yeah, நீங்க கேட்டீங்க. TDS வந்து ஒரு சீனியர் சிட்டிசன்ஸ்க்கு இப்போ 50,000 லிமிட்லேருந்து 1 லேக்குக்கு மாற்றிருக்காங்க. எக்ஸம்ஷன் இஸ் அப் டு 1 லேக். எஸ்
Madam, Ramji, Kalanga TV, I asked one question. In budgetல வந்து பீகார் ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு 4 ஏர்போர்ட்ஸ் வந்து அறிவிச்சிருக்காங்க. பட் தமிழ்நாட்டில் மேஜர் ரோலான இந்த மெட்ரோ ரயில் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ், சென்னை மெட்ரோ ரயில், கோவை, மதுரை, இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸில் இந்த பட்ஜெட்டில் எந்தவித அறிவிப்பும் இடல. இந்த பட்ஜெட் எப்படி நீங்கள் நல்ல பட்ஜெட்?
அது வந்து இப்போ டிபிஆர் எல்லாம் போயாச்சு. அது வந்து இன் ப்ராசஸ் தான். அதுக்கு வந்து தனியாக வந்து she may not have mentioned, but it is in process.
பட் பீகார் மென்ஷன் பண்ணுறாங்க. பட் தமிழ்நாடு இந்த மாதிரி அந்த ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு மெட்ரோ ரயில் ப்ராஜெக்ட். பட் சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் இதை வந்து மென்ஷன் பண்ணி எதுவும் சொல்லலை.
But that is in underway, in process. Can we close the session? I thank all the members of media for being present here with us, and I kindly ask all of you to please join us for lunch. Thank you.